Hello, Iris J here with Madrona's Pulse Teachings, Astrology for Healing. Welcome. I am going to chat with you about the South Node in Libra, the transiting South Node in Libra. So the North Node is in Aries, the South Node is in Libra. This shift happened in mid-July. We are working with the nodes in these signs for 18 months. That's how long the transiting nodes is, about 18 months. And what's happening here is this is energy for the collective and the individual. And wherever the nodes are transiting, they are really working with very deep energies that are here to help us emerge on our path in a way that is aligned with higher self, divine mystery, the collective, interconnected being, earth consciousness, all these different words that we can use to explain our interconnection with each other, with this planet, and with the cosmos. And the nodes are a very big part of that story. Now, I have another video on the North Node in Aries that I will have the link below for if you haven't seen that and you're curious. Here, I'm really going to focus on the energies of the South Node. And they're very different energies to focus on. The North Node is really wanting to bring us into the highest manifestation of that archetype, which is Aries. The South Node is really wanting to help us clear the karmic crap. I say that as I am 6 weeks congested, clearing karmic crap. From our lives and psyches. So you absolutely want to see where you have Libra in your chart. The node moves from the final degrees. So it started at the 29th degree and then it moves through the sign towards the first degree. And you want to see what houses that's happening for you. I do also have a video on the houses that goes over the energies. So you could also, I'll drop that link below. If you want to listen to the energies of that house, then you would apply everything that I'm saying to that area of your life, your psyche. Or you can just listen and see what resonates with you and just take that, whatever you prefer. And the South Node really is, and I just want to clarify how we read the North Node and the South Node. I'm an evolutionary astrologer, and the nodes are really important in evolutionary astrology, and how we read them in a natal chart depends upon everyone's particular chart. There's different ways that we read the nodes. I say this because when you look up the nodes, or if you practice different types of astrology, you'll kind of just hear the North Node is what we need to move towards and the South Node is what we have to let go of. It is much more complicated than that. And when we're talking about the transiting nodes, which is what we're talking about, the South Node is working to clear karmic energy. It is working to clear, we could say, some of what we commonly call the shadow side of a particular sign's archetype. So in this case, we're talking about clearing out the Libra gook, the Libra shadow side of our own lives. And this is not easy because Libra is all about how we relate to people. Libra is the archetype of one-on-one relationships. That includes romantic partners, long-term partners, whether we're married or not, but it's also friendships, colleagues. If you're someone that has clients, it's your clients. It's our own teachers, our own mentors, therapists and therapist clients. It's all one-on-one relationships. And relationships are messy. We know this. So that South Node is going through the Libra part of our life. And so whatever house we have Libra in our chart, this is where one-on-one relationships are about how we learn about ourselves in that area of the chart. So if you have Libra in your first house, relationship is really important to your identity. If you have Libra in your fourth house, how you enter into relationship has to do with how you also are in your home, in your family, but also your home and family and how you feel safe in your home is going to impact how you enter into other one-on-one relationships. If you have Libra up there in the 9th house, how you learn has to do with one-on-one relationships, whether or not you're a teacher, the way that you teach with that Libra in the 9th house. So the Libra energy changes depending upon what house we have it in, but it's all about one-on-one relationships and how we relate. Libra is also an archetype that is very concerned with themes of justice, themes of equality, and overall beauty, especially the type of beauty that comes from balance, whether that's natural beauty or beauty of art. But this idea of the equality coming through and creating this not superficial idea of beauty, that's also part of Libra. And Libra is a complicated sign. It's a complicated sign because a lot of what gets taught about Libra in pop astrology, there's a cat darting behind me, that was Nikita. A lot of what gets taught about Libra in pop astrology is all about the other person. And Libra is not actually about the other person. It's about how we discover understanding of ourselves by being in relationship. So right now on the web, on social media, there are so many memes going through about South Node in Libra, toxic relationships, codependency. There's a lot of pop psychology going through about it all being about the other person. And that is not really what Libra is about. And the South Node in Libra is really not about the other person, because the South Node wants to clear out things we've been taught about ourselves in relationship so that we have space to open up to that North Node in Aries. And the North Node in Aries is about our primal, instinctual, courageous self that wants to pioneer and wants to lead in whatever area of the chart that we have Aries in whatever big or small ways that Aries spirit is coming alive. And Libra has to be cleaned up by the karmic access that's in play right now, because how we relate to other people has everything to do with our own sense of identity. There's always a push and pull between two opposite signs. So Aries, who we are in our own individual self, in Libra. So that said, absolutely, if we find ourselves in what for us feels like a toxic relationship, and I say that not buying into a lot of the pop psychology that is out there on the internet, because it does not take into consideration things like everyone's different lifestyle, the fact that I might want a very different lifestyle than someone else, the fact that I might value things above money, the fact, there's just a lot of pop psychology out there that is problematic. And if we find ourselves either in a toxic relationship, whether that is at work or with a friend, or if there's elements of our partnership, a committed partnership that's romantic, that we're not crazy about, most likely things are going to come up that are going to help us. And I use the word help intentionally, even though the South Node doesn't always feel like help. They're going to help us clean up. They're going to help us let go. They're going to help us reflect on, this is not serving me. And I think when we're talking about Libra, especially if we come from complicated families and complicated childhoods, most likely the Libra part of our psyche learned how to keep the peace. And this is more of the Libra shadow. Now remember, Libra wants justice and equality. And sometimes the Libra psychology confuses keeping a really superficial, false status quo with the true, deep beauty of two parties honoring each other even if their opinions are in conflict. The idea that there can be balance with conflict of interpretation, with conflict of opinion. And this is what the Libra journey is about. So if you have a lot of placements in Libra, if you're of the Libra and the Pluto in Libra generation, South Node's going to go over your Pluto. So all of us, Pluto in Libra generation, myself included, are going to have a deep soul lesson with the South Node about what it means to be in really honest reciprocal relationship, and why people pleasing, keeping the peace are actually not true equality. Now, getting back to my point, if we come from complicated homes, if we come from a home where there was violence or a parent with addiction or trauma, most likely as children, this is how children survive. We learn how to keep the peace. We learn how to become what other folks need. And again, if you have there's other ways this could show up, but if you have a strong Libra presence in your chart, then we can always kind of fall into some of the Libra shadow. And the South Node going through Libra is really about unlearning what we may have been taught about being in relationships so that we can show up more authentically. And if we need help doing that, we feel into what Aries is calling us to. And we look at the ways that our one-on-one relationships and even deeper than that, our sense of being in relationship has to shift in order to support that Aries spirit to fly, because that Aries spirit wants to fly. And our one-on-one relationships want to support our Aries spirit to fly. And there's probably some cleaning up to do. Now, we've already been doing some of this though, because the South Node, before it came into Libra, it was in Scorpio. Remember? Whew! Let's be happy that stage is over. The Scorpio eclipses that we've had. Scorpio is about intimacy. It's about being so fully bonded with another individual that we lose ourselves. So the South Node it's actually cleaned up some of that really gooky stuff about intimate relationship. And now it's moving into Libra, which that cleaned up experience of deep internal Scorpio ways of being wants to move into a different rung of relationship, which is more about not just with those certain intense, intimate partnerships, but with all the people that we enter into one-on-one relationship. And so because we've come from Scorpio, we've already done a ton of cleaning up in terms of what relating means, but we're coming into it in a different way. Scorpio was a water sign. It was about that total merging. Libra is an air sign. Libra can create wonderful, wonderful arguments about why I should be silencing myself. And it can theorize it, and it can go into a distorted place of a beautiful argument, and it can totally intellectualize the self out of itself. Go back to Aries, that fire spirit that is all about the self. It pulls Libra back down into the body. It pulls Libra back down into what my needs are. And you really want to work with both. We want to go back and forth, especially if you have a lot of Libra, or you find that you were educated to become a people pleaser. Even if, like, maybe we've really worked on that in our one-on-one relationships with partners and friends, but maybe it still comes up at work, or maybe it's the other way around. You know, there's going to be things that are shown to us, and opportunities are going to come into our life, keeping in mind that sometimes an opportunity doesn't feel like that. Sometimes it feels like stress. Sometimes it feels like confusion. And ultimately, as we go through it, as we transition with it, we start to learn and reflect, and we see how the South Node is peeling back the layers about how we can come in to what is authentic, equitable relationship. That's what Libra wants us to do. And keeping in mind that true beauty is when we're honoring both sides and creating something new out of the two. When we silence ourselves or we get ourselves so intellectualized that we kind of get out of our body and we forget about what we need, we're not actually supporting both sides. We're supporting that other person and their needs and their wants. And Libra is excellent at knowing what someone else wants and needs. Libra often has to learn what it wants, what I want, what I need. And then it needs to learn to communicate that. And so beautiful that we have 18 months to work on this. The last time that we had the South Node in Libra was December 2004 through to June 2006. You can think back and see what was coming up then, see if there's themes or anything coming up that sheds light on ways that you're still developing these themes and these parts of your own life. And also, I think it is important to keep in mind with a South Node transit, if you have placements in Libra, so like there's a whole generation of the Pluto in Libra, if you have other planets in Libra, a South Node conjunction can be exhausting. So if you have conjunctions with this South Node in Libra, really giving yourself the space and the time to rest when you need to rest, remembering to drink water, remembering to have a balance between healthy eating and the snacks that really give us some happiness, even if they're not the healthiest, right? But finding the balance and really supporting, because the South Node, if you have a sun, if you're a Libra sun, when the South Node hits your sun, that can be exhausting. Again, it's kind of like the spirit and the mind and the body, they need to lower their chi so that South Node energy can do its thing and clean things out, because it is a cleaning out process, and we kind of have to surrender when the South Node is doing its thing. And also, when we need to get our spirits up, if you are feeling exhausted, focus on that Aries North Node, see where it is in your chart, spend some time just journaling with it or thinking with it, or imagining whatever it is that Aries spirit wants to sing. Just let yourself go into that and know that that's what the fates, because we love to talk about the North Node and the South Node in terms of the fates, are supporting us to do right now. And I'm going to leave it at that. Sending blessings, blessings, blessings. Take care.